Oh man. Ooh. Well, I am back, you party people. Yeah, I am back, you party people. All right. Eternal benevolence, 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 eternal benevolence. That was upon my heart, people. So I had to share it with you. Let me go ahead and save this right quick. Eternal benevolence. Alright. Because I don't want to have too many applications open. You know how my PC is. Those that follow this channel. Okay? And if you follow this channel, you are following and seeking after the true and living God. I don't say that in arrogance. How dare you self-righteous people that want to claim such nonsense? You can no longer gaslight his true servants. You try to make us feel bad because we know who we are. Try to make us feel guilty when we know that we're innocent. That's gaslighting. It ain't like I'm out here living contrary to what I'm speaking. Alright? It ain't like I'm out here saying that I actually operate in benevolent attributes, but yet I do things to other people that I wouldn't want done to myself. I'm out here mistreating people, but claiming that I don't mistreat people. Being selfish and all of these things, but yet I'm generous. So I actually live what I speak. So because I live what I speak, nobody can gaslight me. Okay? You're not going to make me feel bad that I know who I am, people. Okay? You're not going to make me feel bad and make me feel inadequate and or like I'm in arrogance because I tell you that I am a true child of the true and living God of eternal benevolence. Okay? I ain't going to feel bad about that. All right? I'm not puffed up in pride and arrogance about it, but I am happy about it. Okay? I have a right to be happy that I selected my God, that I had the free agency to choose my God. Okay? See, like that's what it is, people. Why do you want me to feel bad that I chose eternal benevolence? Why do you not want it to be known who has chosen eternal benevolence? Why do you want to make it like everybody has chosen the God of money? See, That's the system that's been imposed upon me the entirety of my life. That's the system that's been imposed upon everybody. But not everybody have the same type of mentality and heart condition concerning money. Okay? See, many people want to claim that I'm an irresponsible adult because I don't care about money. Oh, well, if you don't care about money, that means you don't care about yourself. Well, you're right. In fact, I'm not selfish. Okay? I'm not the selfish type. All right? No, I don't care more about my carnal flesh and its wants and needs than I do my spiritual mission. Okay? You're not going to make me feel bad about that any longer. You're not going to be able to utilize that to strong arm me into pining after the god of money so that I can appear as a responsible adult. See, no, all you can do now is just shut up your bowels of compassion unto me and refuse to be compassionate. Refuse to be merciful. Refuse to be generous. Refuse to be loving. Refuse to be kind hearted or empathetic or any of these things. These righteous attributes of eternal benevolence. No, you want to punish me for choosing eternal benevolence. But at the same time, you want to claim that I'm in ignorance and that I don't truly serve the true and living God. You want to claim that I'm not a child of the true and living God. But yet here you chose your God of money that has no compassion, no kindness, no mercy, no empathy, no generosity unto those that don't bow down and love and worship and serve the God of money. That's what you are in league with. You're in league with that God. But I'm over here without that God, but yet I'm treating my neighbor with real love, real compassion, real kindness, real mercy, real empathy. I actually do for others that which I will want done unto me. I actually refrain from doing to anyone anything that I would not want done unto myself. And I'm here freely giving you these oracles by the way of the Spirit. But you can't find it anywhere within your heart to give me any kind of physical substance. You can't find it anywhere in your heart to be merciful out of your abundance of that which is being required of the system from his servant. And because majority of you ain't got no place in your heart, no room in your heart for any kind of benevolence towards me, you project all kinds of false realities and claim I'm evil. In these days, good will be called evil and evil would be called good. Did you know that they also claimed that the Messiah had a devil? Why do you scorn and hate the oppressed? Why do you hate the poor? You ever ask yourself that? The reason why you hate the poor is because it's shining a light on your selfishness and your greed. Because there would not be the poor if everyone who had abundance shared with those who had not. And who have not. There would be no such thing as poverty, people. If everyone that had abundance began to walk in love towards their neighbor as thyself, imparting of substance to those in need, especially the servants of eternal benevolence. To be evil to us is to bring great destruction upon yourself. Because we're not sowing any malevolent attributes. We're not demonstrating any malevolent attributes whatsoever. Therefore, I'm not exuding any kind of malevolent or evil energy. The only energy that I'm putting out into the earth and have been for the past 4 years is benevolent energy, positive energy, to the best of my ability. But yet, I'm physically going through much persecution of many people, pretty much everybody around me. There's one neighbor that's been showing compassion unto me. You know, hooked me up with a little bit of tobacco the other day, gave me a pan out the blue yesterday, you know. Hook me up with a little bit of herb here and there every now and then. Like, just give it to me. You know, I don't. Most of the time, I don't have to ask. She will ask me if I need anything. You know, she ain't wealthy. She ain't rich. She live in a hood with me. But this is an older Gentile lady. All right, has been compassionate unto the Father's servant. Now, I don't know whether or not she has the ears to hear the fullness of the gospel. You know, I've tried, sharing a little bit here and there with her. You know, she kind of gets quiet when I talk about, being indigenous to this land and being of the covenant seed of the true biblical people. You know, she gets quiet. You know, she doesn't say anything. But at the same time, she been generous and merciful unto me, and I'm generous and merciful unto her. I don't treat people based upon their skin color, their ethnicity. When she's in need and I have abundance, I help her. I seen her walking out here, picking up butts one day, and I had an abundance of tobacco. So I literally tapped on the window. I'm like, "Hey, are you looking for butts?" And she was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Nah, here, come here," and literally hooked her up. Okay, I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm telling you this because this is the way I live my life, and I'm instructed to put my life on this channel. Okay? When I see someone else going through what I've went through, I don't like seeing anyone suffering. I don't like seeing anyone going without their wants and needs. So if I have an abundance, I help where I can, with out of my own poverty, out of my own impoverished circumstances. I share out of the abundance of my poverty. I don't care if you believe me, because eternal benevolence sees me. I am his servant, and I wouldn't truly be his servant if I did not live what I speak. Therefore, I don't care what people think about me. This is probably another reason why I speak the way I speak. And I'm going to be bringing more about that later. Okay? Ezekiel 39:23. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for our iniquity. This is why so-called black people have been treated the way we have been treated. And you nations, and the worst of the heathen who set themselves in authority, you all know. You all know the affliction of so-called black people. You all know how we have been treated for centuries. You just want to psych yourself out to believe that this is normal life. That is normal for us to not have a homeland of origin. Oh, maybe you niggas from sub-Saharan Africa, you were swinging in the Congo. We got you from swinging in trees and we civilized you niggas. See, this is what you want to believe about us. But this is exactly how the scriptures declare this is what the scriptures declared we would experience in these lands. And it was all because we transgressed against eternal benevolence. We broke his covenant. We went away from him. We followed after strange gods. We followed after blood gods. We shed much blood in the land in which he had already told us, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Thou shalt not spill blood in the land. Thou shalt not pollute the land in which you're on with blood. Do not pollute the land that you are on with blood. But my people continue to shed the blood of the innocent animals. What, you think that their blood don't count? Do you think that he didn't really mean their blood, just human blood? He told us what our diet was. We are to eat that which grows from the earth. Now, I know many of my ox, they got excuses. Many people get excuses and they say, well, I tried being vegan before and my body rejected it. Well, if your body is rejecting it, you need to pray and fast. Okay? Because clearly that's a demon that's given rejection to being obedient to the original diet that we were given in the beginning. Okay? That's no excuse to continue to be a transgressor of that eternal law of thou shalt not kill and love your neighbor as thyself. The animals are included as your neighbor. And I have a scripture to verify that, bro, and to prove that. I think it's in the Gospel of the Holy 12, but I don't know exactly where it's at. And I don't think that I can pull it up just by typing in neighbor. But yeah, that's in Gospel of the Holy 12. That the animals are also our neighbor, but I will prove it to you another way. Okay? Because where there's a will, there's a way. There's several ways that we can prove this. Alright? Now, if they weren't our neighbor, then we wouldn't have scriptures like this. Okay? We share the same fate. Alright? They are our neighbor. Okay? If we share the same fate, then that means they're our neighbor. Okay? Surely the fate of human beings is like that of the animals. The same fate awaits them both. As one dies, so dies the other. All have the same breath of life. Humans have no advantage over animals. That means they're our neighbor. Okay? So it is not a righteous thing, bro. This is not righteous. This is the Father's creation, and they feel pain. You see the blood. They feel pain. They cry out in turmoil. Do you see the fear? They're traumatized. Do you not have compassion for other beings that feel the same pain that we feel? This was the sin of my forefathers. They had no compassion upon the Father's innocent creation. They spilt their blood in great wickedness, hardened in their heart. They had no mercy, all because they wanted to eat their dead bodies. We must have compassion upon the Father's innocent creation. They are our neighbor. This is wickedness. We share the same fate as the animals. Ecclesiastes 3:19 lets you know that we all have the same fate. A righteous man regards the life of the beast, loving discipline and knowledge. Do you want to know the true oracles of eternal benevolence, or do you want to keep staying puffed up in your pride and your arrogance, transgressing his eternal love of divine love? A righteous man regards the life of his animal, but the tender mercies of the wicked are only cruelty. They're waiting to be delivered. The creation waits in eager expectation for the revelation, and realization of the sons of the true and living God of eternal benevolence. Why you think they've been acting weird, going around in circles, praising eternal benevolence, that we have been risen by way of his Spirit? They've been waiting in eager expectation for us, because they know that we're going to deliver them from the hands of the wicked. For the creation was subjected to futility, injustice. Hold on here. Let me actually bring up the KJV. Oops. Romans 8, what? 19. That's what I thought. Oops. Come on now. Oh man, bruh, she's about to bless me. That's awesome. I'm messaging her. She is gonna give me some smokes, bro. Even a little bit of herb. Wow. Alright. So now, Let's go ahead and go to this KJV. I ain't got no money, people. I got 67 cents to my name. But, I have a neighbor that's been very generous to me. You know, I still have a roof over my head for now, but the rent has not been paid. Okay? It's 2 months behind. All right? But I trust eternal benevolence. Ain't nobody, can't nobody convince me that I'm wrong and that I'm in the wrong for not getting a job and earning the false god of money to pay rent in order to have a roof over my head. Okay? No. It's not the god of money that sustains my life. No, eternal benevolence sustains my life. Okay? That's who I put my trust and faith in. And I have every right with my free agency. Okay? And I have his peace. You don't see me out here, like literally going crazy because I ain't got no money. Most people would there's people that's literally blown their brains out. No, not finished yet, but I was talking about you and I happened to check my text. I'm still recording, so all of this is going to be on this video, but I was talking about how you blessed me. One second, people. Sorry about that. I'm trying to text her back. I really appreciate her. All right. All right. So now, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High God. Okay? Like I was saying earlier, you're not going to make me feel bad that I know I am a true child of the true and living God of eternal benevolence. Okay? Yeah, like, time's up when I wicked. Alright? See, I was born into a superficial reality. And this is what drove me crazy my whole life because I was never superficial. And because I was never superficial and I was always super real, it caused most people to literally feel some type of way about me. So, I don't want to keep checking the text and whatnot when I'm talking to y'all. But yeah, she told me to let her know whenever I'm done with this. So that's what's up. So yes, when you're real in a superficial world, you're not gonna have an easy life. Okay, so I did not have an easy life, but it prepared me to do this. Because if I had an easy life, if I had a life where I was just loved all my life, and you know, I wasn't never ostracized, and bro, there ain't no way in hell I would have been strong enough to make it through all of this stonewalling and go this long without any kind of love and compassion, support, kindness, mercy, empathy, support, any of that shown unto me. Okay, it's been very scarce. You know, it's been enough to barely let me scrape by. All right, but when you're scraping by, you get wounded. Okay, you scrape anything and see if you're not affected by it. Okay, I've been scraped. Okay, yes, for 3 years, over 3 years. All right, literally just scraped, scorned, mistreated, slandered, literally detested. Okay, all of these things. But these same people want to claim that I ain't a child of God. I don't have his oracles. Hey, think what you want. Okay, because, hey, we all have free agency. So I ain't here to force anything onto anybody. The benevolent beings don't do such things. Okay, we don't force anything. See, that's the world that we were born in, where everything is imposed upon us. Everything is forced upon us. All right, people just imposing their will upon us. People imposing their mentality and their heart condition upon us. But the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the true and living God, of eternal benevolence. And if children, then heirs, heirs of eternal benevolence, and joint heirs with the Hamashiach, the ascended Master. If so be that we suffer with him. Oh, have I been suffering, and he been suffering along with me. Eternal benevolence been suffering the cold hearts of you people, the lack of compassion, kindness, mercy, and empathy, generosity. But see how you love your money and all your materialistic things. But yet you confessing his name. Continuously confessing his name. Continuously got his name all up in your mouth. But you ain't got no compassion on his true servants. So I have been suffering with him. That we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. How is his glory going to be revealed in us? Again, because he's going to bestow his riches of glory upon his vessels of mercy. How is he going to do that? He's going to call forth the let me get it, okay? Because I'm flowing by way of the Spirit, but all of this is here. Did I already bring that up, Father? Oops, I don't want to close that. No, okay, I gotta go get it then. 1 second. 1 second. Let me close that one out. We're over here, I know. Alright, let me pull it up then. To see my life in the scriptures. Alright. So this is how he gonna do it. Alright, he's gonna bestow his Romans 9:23. Okay. So, the calling of the Gentiles. Yeah, the righteous ones. The very few righteous ones. I've been asking for so long, like, where? Like, I've been looking with a telescope, with binoculars and telescope, like, Father, where are they? Where are they? Where are the righteous of the nations? Where are they, Father? See? See, he didn't allow all of this wrath to come upon us, experiencing all of this hell for centuries, and did not have a plan in place in order to repair us, restore us. So it's only you righteous of you Gentile nations that are of eternal benevolence that will use your prosperity for the sake of righteousness. Okay? What if he did this to make the riches of his glory known to the vessels of his mercy, whom he prepared in advance for glory? See, I don't know how many lifetimes I've had, people. I really don't. But I know that I've been here several times before. I have a lot of reoccurring dreams of drowning, okay? I have this thing where sometimes I wake up and it feels like I'm falling, okay? Like I'm like free falling, okay? But primarily I have a lot of reoccurring dreams. It's been a while since I've had it, but these reoccurring dreams of drowning, okay? So I know that I've experienced it before in one of my lifetimes. And truth be told, that's always been one of my fears is, drowning. Never really wanted to, and like if I had to die, that would be like the worst way to die. But hell, even if I was to die that way now, if I had to choose between being drowned to death or being water tortured or whatever, none of that's going to cause me to turn my back on eternal benevolence. Hell, I'll take a deep ass breath. Like, go ahead and get it over with, all right? Like, yeah, hey, that ain't, at that point, it ain't my fault, okay? Why would I fight for my physical life? I'm not going to fight for my physical life. Why? Because, hell, when I leave this physical life, I will be put out of my misery. Okay? This physical life is misery. Alright? I don't love my physical life. I hate my physical life, to be quite honest. Okay? The only thing that I love about it is that I'm able to do this work by way of the Spirit. Alright? But you want to tear me away from this and force me to care about my carnal flesh by earning money for a living. No, sir, no, ma'am. Money is not my God. Okay? But it's been most of your God. Okay? Most of you, money has been your God. So because money has been your God, it's time to confess my God. If you truly serve my God, if you have the correct heart posture and you have the correct mentality, as long as your conscience is not seared with a hot iron, then you will be able to receive the fullness of his gospel. And then you will be able to be utilized by eternal benevolence to do his will upon earth. Therefore, those of you who are prosperous, he's going to be able to utilize you to make the riches of his glory known to the vessels of his mercy, whom he prepared in advance for his glory, including you righteous nations, okay, whom he had not, who he has called not only from the Israelites, but also from the individual people of the Gentile nations predominantly, okay, and of all nations. Why do I say predominantly the Gentile nations? Like, bro, not I'm trying to not go on too much of a tangent here, but I got to flow, okay? And these things flow to me. They just pop in my head, okay? So hold on. This is also in Romans. Is it Romans 11, Father? Romans, let's see. Is it Romans 11? I could have sworn. Okay, yes, it is 11. All right. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, see, is what you already owe us anyway. Okay, because when you came over here, you were not in prosperity nations. Okay, no, you were not. You came over here so that you could become prosperous, but you did it upon our ancestral land. Okay, so now you got your prosperity. Okay, and many of you are just puffed up in your pride and your arrogance, like you did all of this in your own might, like eternal benevolence did not stand down and allow you your allotted time to do all your wickedness, but you also have free agency to do righteousness. But all of this time, for centuries, you've done nothing but great evil against his covenant people. And now, in the end, when he resurrected his covenant people by way of his spirit, and he's causing us to speak all of these words to you, I'll close it out. Causing us to remind you of your sin, let you know what your sin is. All right, that was in the video right before this, so check it out. Okay, I think it was Psalms of Solomon. Okay, now that we're calling out your sin, we're letting you know what your sin is. Your transgression is the fact that you came over to this land, raping, robbing, murdering, plundering, pillaging, destroying, and just taking us captive and using us as a cash cow while you got your prosperity. Okay, and now you're trampling upon us. All right, and you're having no mercy nor compassion upon us. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, because it's how the world became prosperous, okay, and the diminishing of us, let's see how you diminished us, okay. See, all of these massacres when you came over here to these lands between the 1700s all the way through the 1900s, okay, even into the 2000s, okay, the new millennium, okay, you have done all of these atrocious deeds unto us in our own ancestral land. You set yourselves on top of us. All right. So now, all you Gentile nations, all these pale skinned people are the richest family in every state upon our ancestral land. How the hell is that possible? Oh, that's right. Because you massacre us, and because the fall of us became the riches of the world, and the diminishing of us. This right here, the diminishing. You came and just massacre us repeatedly. Okay? The diminishing of us. Alright? Caused the riches of the Gentiles. Alright? So, the riches of the Gentiles. Alright? Richest people in the world. All Caucasians. All pale-skinned Indo-Europeans. Okay? Top 10 overall richest people in the world. They're all freaking billionaires. You get all your money by destroying us. Okay? So you need to ask yourself, how much more our fullness? If you could get that wealthy in great wickedness, because eternal benevolence is our God, we are his people. You knew that we were his people when you came upon these lands. That's why you called yourselves pilgrims. You knew that this was his holy land. That's why you called yourselves pilgrims. Okay? So time is up for gaslighting us. I am not afraid to bring you the fullness of this gospel and be impoverished while I do it, because I'm here to offer you this divine opportunity. I've been instructed by the leading of the Holy Spirit. Okay? No longer can you claim that slavery is no excuse for our impoverished circumstances, trying to gaslight us and claim that we're all equal. Oh, everybody has an opportunity to earn money for a living. You're just a lazy bum. Get off your lazy ass and get a job. So bow down and worship the God of money. Worship your God. That's what you're saying. Screw your God of eternal benevolence. Get your ass out there and get a job and earn money. Well, it's engraved on the back of that money, "In God we trust." But I don't trust in that God. I don't love that God. But you want to be evil unto me because I refuse to put my time, energy, and effort into earning that God. You want to be mad at me that I don't trust in that God. See, this is why you're scared of me. You're scared to support someone like me because I can't be bought with no money. See? You're scared to listen to me because evil loves his evil deeds. And they that do evil hate to come into the light for fear that their evil deeds will be revealed. This why you ghost me. This why there's crickets on my channel. You can no longer claim that slavery is no excuse for our impoverished circumstances because we won't worship your God. Especially when we got the receipts. That is the very reason that you Indo-Europeans have been on top of the economic system, enjoying the blessings of Lucifer with all your fool's gold. You need to ask yourself, since we're the true people of the true and living God, and you were able to get up on top, like with all your prosperity, okay, all your prosperity, and you're the richest family in every state, okay, you're billionaires, okay, if you were able to, and how long have these people just been able to live lavishly this way? Like, I mean, there were rich, you Gentiles, there are many of you that were prosperous in the 1700s, even in the 1600s. Okay, this is a little bit of time since, the end of the 14th century and the end of the 1400s, 1492, when Christopher Columbus came over here invading our lands, and then De Soto and all the Spaniards, okay, and then, the lands just opened up, letting all you nations just flock over here in the 1700s. Hold on a second. Y'all the ones that came off the boats. Hold on. One second. I'm gonna pull it up. I gotta try to find freaking keyword. Oh, I can just type in 1700s. Hold on. Thank you, Father. There we go. Thank you. Alright. So, here we go. And do you see how y'all were dressed? Y'all were impoverished, okay? Y'all came over, when you came over here, you were impoverished. Alright? You had a potato famine and all of these things in Europe, okay? Many of you were swept up by your governments and shipped over here. Alright? Yes. And eternal benevolence allowed it. So now you're all upon his covenant land. Alright? And you begin to oppress his covenant people. And now today, you're all prosperous, puffed up in your pride and your arrogance. Well, if you were able to get this prosperous by destroying us, diminishing us, you should ask yourself how much more our fullness. Okay? Because we're going to get back every single thing that you've stolen from us and some. Okay? You didn't even get all of our riches. There is a great majority of it that's been hidden. Okay? That you will never get. Alright? But we're about to be restored, people. We're about to be restored as a people. Okay? So, understand. He allowed this. Alright? He allowed this. So that in this time right now, each one of you, because all my life, and even when we first started speaking the truth about this real history, our real history, and the real history of the Europeans who came upon these lands, I've been told so many times, hey, please don't lump us all in together. We're not all that way. We're not all the same that way. We don't all treat your people that way. Well, how come you have not yet proved it? Okay? And though, yes, throughout my life, I've met several Europeans that have been kind unto me. Okay, so I realize already, but when we bringing out this truth, we have to speak as a whole. All right. And it's only when you let yourself be known unto us that you are not a part of the majority, that you are of our God of eternal benevolence, is when you make it known to us that we will acknowledge you. We will acknowledge the fact that, hey, okay, not you. Okay? But until you make yourself known as not one of the majority that hate us, and that have no compassion for us, have no love for us, until you make yourself known as, one of his, you would be you would be an M for his vine, okay? Until you do that, you are a part of the whole, all right? And we are addressing you because you need to know that you have this opportunity, all right? So the whole reason he allowed all of this was, one, to chastise his disobedient covenant people, all right? Purify and refine the remnant within the remnant, bring us through the fire, okay? Refining us so that he can utilize us to be the ones that will be able to give his living word by the way of the Spirit as we live it. Okay? He can only use those who are obedient. He can't use someone that loves money. He cannot use someone that has their heart divided with a false god of money. Okay? Therefore, my heart cannot be divided and is not divided. Now, It's time for all you that keep saying, please don't lump us in with the majority. We're not all that way. Prove it. Why don't you show compassion unto me? Why don't you use your prosperity to show mercy unto me and relieve my long suffering? Because this is the other reason that he allotted all that is hell to befall his people. Because we already went through the chastising. We already went through the fire. We're here, refined as his living witnesses. So for you to choose to continuously harden your heart against us, that is actually proving that you are not his portion. Okay, the only ones that are going to be his portion are those who confess his name. This connects to Matthew chapter 25, the separation of the wheat or of the sheep from the goats. Okay, but it also does connect to confessing his name. Okay, it connects to the separation of the wheat from the tares. All right, that is the time that you're living in, because the fullness of the true gospel is going forth via his living witnesses. Okay, now he did this to make his riches of glory known unto his vessels of mercy, those of us that's been refined, who he prepared in advance for glory. Okay, now this will include you righteous Gentiles who choose to be a righteous am, who he has called not only from the Israelites, but also of the Gentiles. Okay? Now, the reason why it's saying this is because some of my people chose to pine after money, like the Gentiles. Okay? So they too will have to take of their abundance and help ease our suffering. If they shut up their bowels of compassion, they are going to be the portion of the wicked. Okay, the vessels of mercy are the few of us that ain't got no money. Okay, we're the ones that don't pine after money. Okay, so you must be generous unto his vessels of mercy. But this world has caused you to be calloused unto us. This world has caused you to scorn us and hate us and call us lazy, saying root hog or die poor. You're doing that to his vessels of mercy. Therefore, that is revealing you as a devil. Okay? I'm sorry that I'm so blunt, people. I'm sorry that most people feel some type of way. But I ain't sorry that I am who I am. I ain't sorry that I can flow by way of the Spirit and give you his living word by the way of the Spirit. I don't practice this. Okay? See, I have been chosen as one of his people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, to proclaim the virtues of eternal benevolence, because he called me out of darkness into his marvelous light. Once I was not known as his people. Even to this day, you want to ignore that I am his people. Okay? But he's going to show that we are his people. All right? He's don't. This is how you will be able to judge by the fruit of the Spirit that I am not arrogant. Besides the way that I speak, because it's not arrogance, it's the authority of the Spirit. There's a difference. Okay, you want to say I'm arrogant because of the way I speak, but the fruit of the Spirit bear record that I'm not arrogant, because I patiently wait for eternal benevolence to elevate me. I don't force anything. I don't put myself out there and try to I'm not out here seeking clout. I'm not out here seeking status and or honors of men. I am patiently waiting for eternal benevolence to esteem me. So that proves my humility to eternal benevolence. That proves I'm not really in arrogance. Okay? I'm here to slay all demons. Once I had not received mercy, but here soon I will receive mercy. To them, eternal benevolence has chosen to make known among the Gentiles the glorious riches of this mystery. Now, let's connect it, all right? This is me, all right? From the period of my birth, I have never been covetous of earthly riches. Money has never been my God. But I was gaslighted and strong-armed and forced into earning money for a living for a little over 20 years of my life. Okay? About 20 years or so of my life, maybe more than that. I have to redo the calculation, but it was probably close to about 20 years or so. All right? About 20 years, okay? A little over 20 years. All right, never cared about it, but this was what was forced upon me, okay? And I hated it, to be quite honest. Now, everybody will tell you that they hate working their job, all right? Nevertheless, they do it because they love their physical life. The difference is I never loved my physical life. I was seeking answers for why I was born upon this earth, because I knew I wasn't born upon the earth just to enjoy my carnal flesh upon the earth. Okay? That was hell to me. All right? So, I was the type that regarded myself as a breath passing away. Like, aimlessly. I lived my life aimlessly. I was always known as a free spirit, but it got me much scorning, okay, and ridiculing. Told that I have my head in the clouds. Told that I'm an irresponsible adult, and all of these things, okay? But such has been my conduct, and much has the world tried us, and our spirits have been found pure, that we may bless his name. See, those that love money, they wouldn't be blessing the name of eternal benevolence for real with their actions. No, because they love money. Okay? So they hold on to their money, and money is their God. So therefore, even though they're vainly professing to love and serve the true and living God, they're not demonstrating it with their actions. Okay? So they're not truly blessing his name. Because the only way that you can really bless his name is with your actions, with your deeds, and with your mouth. Like I do. I esteem eternal benevolence. Yes, I do. And by my actions, I demonstrate his attributes. Therefore, all my blessings has been related in a book. And we're going to be rewarded. Yes, we are. All right? For we have been found to love heaven with an everlasting aspiration. We love eternal life. Okay? We love eternal life. All right? Eternal benevolence. Divine love and compassion, kindness, mercy, and empathy. This is what we love. Okay? With an everlasting aspiration. This is my aspiration. I don't have the aspiration to pine after money for a living. I don't have the aspiration to build a comfortable life for myself upon this earth, in this reality, where there's homelessness and much selfishness and greed upon the earth. Okay? I have no aspiration to join the masses in this foolishness. Eternal benevolence has said, while we have been trodden down, by wicked men. We have also heard from them revelings and blasphemies, and we have been horribly treated while we have been blessing him. While we have been blessing him. And now, here, this is the connection. Pay attention, because it's all throughout your scriptures. Though you want to stay blinded to it, you want to blind yourself to this. Like you don't never have to restore his remnant. You don't never have to give back what your forefathers have stolen. You are sadly mistaken. Okay? And now, will I call the spirits of the good from the generations of light? Okay, all of you Gentiles out there that's prosperous, if you are truly of a good spirit from the generations of light, then you will become a righteous am. You will be able to be changed. Your heart will be able to change, okay? Your mentality will be able to change via eternal benevolence. You will be able to receive this reproof via the spirit of truth. All right? You will not run from it, for you will embrace it. You will begin to love it. You will begin to crave it. Okay? You will begin to love me as you do yourself. You will cherish me. You will value me. Then you will begin to show compassion unto me. You will begin to show mercy unto me. And this is going to be the working of eternal benevolence. Because he's going to call upon the spirits of the good from the generation of light. And you will be able to be changed. Those who have been born in darkness, who have not in their bodies been recompensed with glory, as their faith may have merited. That's us. You're going to bestow your riches, your physical riches, upon us. Okay? This is going to be by the leading of the Holy Spirit. All right? Eternal benevolence is going to bring us into the splendid light. Okay? Of you righteous ones who love his holy name. Benevolence. If you love benevolence, then you will operate in benevolence. There's no way that you could be selfish. There's no way you can hold on to an abundance knowing that his servants have been long-suffering, are in much want and need of many things. All right? So those of you who love his holy name, you are going to be utilized as a righteous am. And we're the ones that's basically going to be placed on the throne of glory. But this is going to be by the doing of eternal benevolence. So we're not going to be puffed up in pride and arrogance. Okay? We're going to be blessing his name. Okay? In much happiness and joy. Because we're going to be loving the individual righteous ones of the Gentile nations and all nations that are operating in their spiritual mission to be righteous ams for his vine. Okay? We're going to be loving that they're able to receive what we have been instructed to freely give. Because they're going to be refreshing unto us. Not only will they be relieving our suffering physically, but they're also going to be relieving our misery and our suffering that we've been experiencing spiritually. Because finally, there will be somebody that appreciates what we're here to do. Because all of our life, my life, I've been made to feel like I'm worthless. Like I have no place upon the earth. Like I have no value. Okay? You have no idea what this does. If I did not have a strong spirit, people, and if I really wasn't a true servant of eternal benevolence to where I could lean upon his spirit, I would have been off myself. Okay? Because I would not be able to tolerate living in a world that treats me as if I have no value. Unless I pine after money for a living. Unless I have money and materialistic things, then I have no freaking value. Bro, that is the epitome of superficial. And I am the complete contrary to that. I am the complete opposite of that. Okay? Like, authenticity is completely contrary to superficiality. All right? You're trying to force an authentic, benevolent being to live a superficial, false reality. Stop doing this. You're doing it to your own detriment. Okay? So, yes, he's going to set us on our own throne of glory, peculiarly our own, and then we will be at rest. Yes. It's not like we're not going to still be working the spiritual work, but we're not going to have to be concerned about how we're going to come up with money for this, how we're going to have to come up with money for that. No, we're going to be at rest because these righteous Gentiles will be they will love his holy name. Okay? So they're going to be the type that's going to constantly be checking up. They're literally going to love us as they love themselves. So they're going to make sure that we're happy. Okay? They're going to make sure that we have everything that we want and need to sustain our mortal lives while we operate in our spiritual mission. They are to be the amps to help us soar in our purpose. Okay? This is what they're going to do. All right? And it's going to be the workings of eternal benevolence. All right? That's how we're going to be at rest. Not that we're going to be not doing anything. All right? No, we're going to be loving, soaring in our purpose. Okay? This is why he said that, when the drought come, our leaf shall never be withered. Okay? We're going to constantly have all of this fruit to freely give. This not really work. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Okay? Yes, it takes time, energy, and effort. Okay, it does drain, especially because I'm so passionate and I put my all into this. Yes, it can be draining. Yes, I have to rest. I have to rejuvenate. Okay, I'm giving you energy, people. I'm giving you this energy, but it's benevolent energy. It's positive energy. All right, I'm putting in my time, energy, and effort doing this spiritual work. Okay. But still yet is more refreshing doing this than freaking working for money. Okay? Please stop trying to force me to work for money. I am here to work for my passion, for compassion, for kindness and mercy and empathy. I'm here to work for eternal benevolence. I am his servant. So please allow me my divine spiritual mission. Okay? So that's all I'm asking you, people. Allow me to be me and quit punishing me. Okay? So yes, peculiarly our own, and we shall be at rest during unnumbered periods. Righteous is a judgment of the true and living God. Okay? The sinners are going to cry out, beholding us. All right? Yeah, they're going to be salty. They're going to be salty in some kind of way, bro. Yes, they are. But, this is why all of this hell has come against me, because it's almost like, these demons know, that, I'm gonna, receive my breakthrough. Okay? For the Most High God of eternal benevolence said, let light shine out of darkness. He made his light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of the glory of the true and living God in the face of the ascended Master. All right, now we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this surpassingly great power from eternal benevolence is not from us. Okay, now it says this treasure is the spiritual wealth, his oracles that I have been given in jars of clay is the mortal body that I am living in. Okay. Yes, I am compared to a jar of clay, but I have his oracles, okay? And he's going to show his great power through us. So clearly I'm not doing this in and of myself, okay? I don't do this for selfish ambition carnally. All right? This is not for carnal selfish ambition, people. All right? Now, oh my goodness. I'm getting hungry and I'm getting a little famished. Alright, you can see the rest of them precepts there. Alright, we're over an hour again, people. I gotta try to wrap this up, okay? Let's go ahead and close that out. Okay, we were in Romans here. Okay, and I started this because I was talking about the animals. And the whole reason I was talking about the animals is because this is the transgression of our iniquity. All right, this is why we went into this final captivity. All right, because we transgressed against him. All right, therefore we broke his covenant. Okay, we spilled blood in this land. All right, therefore we were allowed to be treated like animals. We were allowed to be treated as 3/5 of a human being. All right, so he hid his face from us. He did not deliver us from the punishment of our iniquity. He did not deliver us from the consequences of our iniquity, okay? But now that he has resurrected us by the way of his spirit, now he is going to deliver us because we are being obedient, all right? At one point, he did not deliver us from the hands of our enemies. So yes, we fell by the way of the sword. Okay, hands up, don't shoot. How many times they shot us dead in the street as we were unarmed and then held themselves not guilty? Do you not realize that is in the scripture, that our oppressors will slay us and then hold themselves not guilty? See, they talked it over. They talked it over and said they're not guilty. All right. Jeremiah 50, verse 7. And their enemies have said, we are not guilty. Zechariah 11:5. Whose possessors, because we are in their hands. We're prisoners of war. Okay? We're not sovereign upon our ancestral land. We are being ruled by those who set themselves in authority over us upon our ancestral land. Okay? So they are our possessors. Okay? They slay us. They have slain us and held themselves not guilty. Literally. Okay? Literally. They investigated themselves and they decided that they were not guilty. How many times have they done this? Okay? So, this is what happened to us. Alright? Now, Isaiah 49:7. The Lord, the Redeemer and Holy One of Israel, says to the one who is despised, am I not despised? Oh, why, yes, I have been despised and rejected by the nations. Have I not been rejected by the nations? Why is my channel got crickets? Okay, clearly I'm despised and rejected by the nations. Even my own people, even my own family, refuse to support the spiritual mission that I have been given. But have I let that stop me in my divine spiritual mission? Have I let my impoverished circumstances stop me and my divine spiritual mission? No, sir, no, ma'am. I am still here giving, with 67 cents unto my name. To the one who is the servant of rulers, kings will stand at attention when you pass by. Princes will also bow low because of the Lord, the faithful one, the Holy One of Israel, who has chosen me. Okay? So, my life is in the scriptures. All right? See, I'm going through all of this now. So, because I'm going through being despised and rejected by the nations, and because I'm being treated as, a servant of rulers, all right? Well, right now, I'm a servant to, necessity. And I'm being mistreated by those who set themselves up in authority over me. Being mistreated by those who have abundance in all of their prosperity, shutting up their bowels of compassion unto me. So, because I'm enduring all of this, eternal benevolence is going to overturn it. And when eternal benevolence overturns my impoverished circumstances, kings will stand at attention when we begin to pass by. Princes will also bow low because of eternal benevolence, the faithful one, the Holy One of Israel, who has chosen us. All right? And not just eternal benevolence, but the ascended master, the one that was sent here in the name of eternal benevolence. Okay? All right? Now, this is Joel chapter 2. All right? Restoration promised. All right? Because so many times y'all been asking. All right? Y'all been asking. Okay? Y'all been doing the most to us. All right? Well, I've been weeping so much. All right? Let's just start in verse 15. Blow the ram's horn in Zion. Consecrate a fast. Proclaim a sacred assembly. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the aged, gather the children, even those nursing at the breast. Let the bridegroom leave his room, and let the bride her chamber. Let the priests who minister before the Lord weep between the patio and the altar, or whatever the hell that is. I'm not going to look it up right now, people. I'm trying to hurry up and get off of here, okay? Saying, spare your people, O eternal benevolence. All right, do not make your heritage a reproach. We've been a reproach this entire time. You have literally despised us as a people. It's like all nations have a disdain for so-called African Americans. The whole world have a disdain for so-called black people, so-called Afro-Latinos, Afro-Mexicans, Afro-Cubans, Afro-Americans. Why do you have such a disdain for us? You should ask yourself that. It's because we are his people, and his heritage has been made a reproach, an object of scorn among the nations. Why should they say among the people, where is their God? All this time, you have not known eternal benevolence. You've only known of his goodness. And you've been praising your God of money with the name of my God in your mouth. But with your actions, you've been praising your God of money. You've been esteeming and glorifying your God of money. You just been vainly professing my God. But you don't truly know my God. You don't truly know the true and living God of eternal benevolence. All you know is that he's been good unto you. Yeah, he's been good unto you because you've gotten to live lavishly. He's allowed it. All right? You got to enjoy the beneficence of his goodness. You got to reap all the great blessings of his promised land that he had promised unto us, his covenant remnant, his covenant people. And you refuse to share with his covenant people. And for centuries he's been allowing this unto all you nations that are upon this covenant land. And this whole damn time, you've been scorning us, asking us, where's your God? Where's your God? Because we see our God. Our God is the God of money. Because, see, we got all of these nice things. We got our money. We don't want or need for anything because we got our money. But you truly been actually, saying out your mouth that you love and say, this is why you go to church. And you profess Jesus. You profess Jesus. That's the, bro, I'm not trying to go into a whole long spiel because I know my brethren, okay? Bruh. They focus on the superficial, okay? I realize that there's been a lot of sorcery done, okay? I realize there's a white Jesus and there's the melanated Jesus, okay? Now, I realize also that there was never a letter J, okay? There's never a letter J in Hebrew, and there was not a letter J until about 500 years ago in the Greek and whatever other language they use, okay? So, nevertheless, all right, the universal name that's known, Jesus, who most people confess with Christianity and all of these things, okay, you're professing my God, okay? You're professing the one that you read in the freaking Bible, okay? The one that came to the freaking earth, all right, and demonstrated by his actions divine love and benevolent attributes. You are vainly professing him out your mouth, but you are esteeming money with your actions, okay? And you refuse to be obedient to his commandments, okay? The only reason that I use the term Jesus is because that is the term that is known universally, okay? Everybody knows the name Jesus, okay? And most people, though they associate Jesus with a Eurocentric white man, that is irrelevant for the point that I'm trying to make. Okay? So the point that I'm trying to make is this is the historical figure that I'm referencing. Okay? That came to the earth. It was not a white man. I'm very vocal upon the fact that it was not a Gentile. It was not an Indo-European. Okay? He was melanated and would have been called a black man if he was upon the earth today. Okay? So, my brethren, please do not get offended at me when I use the term Jesus. Okay? When I use the name Jesus. Alright? Stop it with the freaking superficiality, okay? I do it for a reason because not everybody know the name Yahweh. Not everybody know the name Yahusha. Not everybody know the name Ahia or Yeshaya or whatever name you want to pronounce, okay? Not everybody know that, okay? So I use the universal name that everybody knows, okay? In order to point to the historical figure that came to the earth to demonstrate divine love and benevolent attributes, okay? The one that said, my sheep hear my voice and they follow, okay? So I keep it simple for those who are truly seeking the true and living God of eternal benevolence, all right? You see, maybe this is why they feel some type of way and want to hate on me, because they don't want me to reach the babies. They don't want me to reach the ones that are actually seeking. It's like they want to shut up the kingdom. Bruh. No, none of us have a right to shut up the kingdom to those who are truly seeking eternal benevolence. And because I'm here to really truly help people, I'm not hung up on these terms and these specific pronunciations of specific names. Okay? Not everybody knows the name that people are stuck on and hung up on. Okay? I'm here to reach those who are seeking. Alright? So the name don't truly matter. It's about the attributes. Okay? And yes, the color does matter. Alright? Color does matter because if it didn't matter, they would not have changed it to begin with. Alright? Now, clearly restoration is promised unto us. Alright? So you nations, this you need to do what it do. You are to restore us, okay? Never again is he gonna make us a reproach among the nations. All right. Behold, I will send you grain, new wine, and oil, and by them you will be satisfied. I will never again allow you to be a reproach among the nations. All right? The northern army will be driven away from us. Okay? Didn't I tell you earlier in the other video I did earlier today? Okay? The first video I did today, all right? I told you that you gonna be swept up off these lands. Okay, your time is just about up. Right now you're in a valley of decision. Okay, but the northern army that refused to help us, refused to love us, okay, refused to love our God, all right, you're gonna be driven away from these lands. You're gonna be banished to a barren and desolate land. Okay, its front ranks into the eastern sea, and its rear guard into the western sea, and its stench will rise, its foul odor will ascend. Okay, for he has done great things. Okay, yes, you've done great things. Okay, so do not be afraid, O land. Rejoice and be glad. For eternal benevolence has done great things already in the spirit. And because it's already been done in the spirit, it's going to be fulfilled within the physical. Okay? Do not be afraid, O beast of the field, for the open pastures have turned green. The trees bear their fruit. Okay? We are bearing fruit. All right? Yes, we're bearing fruit. We are the first fruit. Okay? We're the first fruit. The fig tree is bearing its fruit. And because the fig tree is bearing its fruit, this is the time that the true and living gospel is going forth. Okay? This is the fullness of the gospel that's going forth. And because the fullness of the gospel is going forth, you are in the valley of decision. Because this is the final time that his gospel is going forth in great boldness to give you an opportunity to choose eternal benevolence or choose to trust in the God of money. Okay? The fig tree and the vine yield their best fruit. Be glad, O children of Zion, and rejoice in eternal benevolence, our power. For he has given us the autumn rains for your vindication. For he has given you the autumn rains for your vindication. He sends you showers, both autumn and spring rains as before. The threshing floors will be full of grain, and the vats will overflow with new wine and oil. Now, he says he's going to repay us. He's going to restore us. He's going to repair us. Okay? For the years eaten by the locust, the swarming locust, the young locust, the destroying locust, and the devouring locust. This is not literal locust, people. The locust is symbolizing the nations that came over here and ate up all of our blessings. Literally just stripped everything from us. Okay, you acted like locusts. The locust is likened unto you nations that came over here and raped, robbed, murdered, and plundered. Okay, you left us desolate. You left us destitute with nothing. Okay? That great army that was sent against you, all right, we will have plenty to eat. All right, that great army that was sent against us, all right, he didn't send them, but he did allow them to be sent against us, okay? And again, it was because of our iniquity, okay? But it wasn't for eternity, all right? So we are going to have plenty to eat until we are satisfied. And we will praise the name of eternal benevolence, our God, who has worked wonders for us. His people will never again be put to shame. Then you will all know that he is present in the midst of us. and that he is eternal benevolence, our God, and that there is no other. His people will never again be put to shame. Okay? Matthew 24. Yahusha said these signs will signal his return and the end of the world. All right? Now, we're not going to be arrested again. All right? See, you need to understand, people, that the end, like it was toward the end back, it was toward the end back when the Messiah was upon the earth. Do you not realize that? That this is exactly why these charlatans been proclaiming for the last 2,000 years that we're in the end, we're in the end. But see, they didn't realize that they still had to go through the revived Roman Empire. Okay? So during our lifetime, okay, during the revived Roman Empire, I would just say our lifetime, okay, because the revived Roman Empire started after 1492, okay? So they had already did this, okay? The revived Roman Empire was after the Messiah, okay? The Messiah came halfway during the Roman Empire, okay? It was already even the end during the time of the Greeks, okay? Because the Greeks was halfway, all right? They were halfway down the statue in Daniel, all right? So that was the thighs of brass, okay? So that's still the end. That's getting close to the end. All right, that was toward the end. These are the signs that will signal his return and the end of the world. Okay, so you had your signs during the Greek era. All right, you had your signs during the Roman era. Okay, when the Messiah first came. All right, now. This particular passage right here was pertaining to the revived Roman Empire. All right, so I have to put it in chronological order for you people to understand real biblical prophecy. These things are not coming. Okay, yes, he's gonna end our physical captivity. All right, however. They blended the prophecy, they mixed and jumbled a whole lot of things up to make you think that the pale horse is coming in the future. There is no pale horse coming in the future. We are the final horse. We're the black horse, and the black horse brings balance. But let me just go ahead and read, okay? You will be arrested, persecuted, and killed. Okay? They already did this. Let me bring up the revelation. They already did this, okay? They already did this to us, all right? Now, this is the final time that we've been resurrected, okay? So now, because this is the final time we've been resurrected, hold on. So we are the living witnesses, okay? So you need to understand that we are the two olive trees, all right? We're the olive trees, the two candlesticks, standing before eternal benevolence, all right? As you can read here, if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. That's not literal, okay? We speak by way of the Spirit, all right? It devours demons, okay? It triggers the demons within our enemies, okay? This is why they hate us. This is why they revile us. This is why they shut up their bowels of compassion unto us, all right? But therefore, if any man will hurt us, they're gonna be killed, okay? They're gonna be killed. They're gonna be burned up. They're going to be burned up by the living word by the way of the Spirit. Okay? Their spirit is going to be killed. All right? Yes, their spirit is killed as we speak the living word by way of the Spirit. All right? Because they have wicked spirits. Their spirit is counterfeit. Okay? They have a counterfeit spirit. And we're slaying demons by speaking the living word by the way of the Spirit. Okay? This is what this means. Okay? These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over the waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues, as often as they will. All right? So, as we speak the eternal living word by the way of the Spirit, it's not like we're deliberately causing the weather and the earth to go crazy on the nations. However, during our time of speaking this eternal living word by the way of the Spirit, the earth is going crazy upon the wicked. Okay, the weather is going crazy upon the wicked. All right, now. And when they have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit. All right, bro, I ain't got time to go all the way and make all of these connections to this prophecy. Okay, because I will be here all freaking day, and this is probably already almost 2 hours. Okay, where's this at, Father? Find it quickly. And it came to pass, this first Nephi, okay? And it came to pass that I looked and beheld many waters, and they divided the Gentiles from the seed of my brethren. And it came to pass that the angel said unto me, behold, the wrath of our wickedness was upon us, and it was allotted by eternal benevolence. Okay? Gentiles came upon the land of promise. All right? This is connecting. All right? That the beast, where's it at? All right? The beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit made war against us. All right? Overcame us. All right? And killed us. Okay? All right, this is the chapter. This is the chapter right here, chapter 13. Okay, see it? All right. This is the abominable church. This is the beast. All right. And it came to pass that I saw among the nations, the Gentiles, in the formation of a great church. All right. And the angel said unto me, behold, the formation of a church, which is the most abominable above all other churches, which slayeth the Israelites, which slayeth the children of the covenant of eternal benevolence. Yeah, and tortureth us, bindeth us down, and yoketh us with a yoke of iron, and bringeth us down into captivity. And it came to pass that I beheld this great and abominable church, and I saw the devil, that he was the founder of it. And I also saw gold and silver, and silks and scarlets, and fine twined linen, and all manner of precious clothing. And I saw many harlots, okay? And the angel spake unto me, saying, behold, the gold and the silver and the silks and the scarlets, and the fine twined linen and the precious clothing, and the harlots are the desires of this great and abominable church, okay? This is why you love your money and materialistic things. This is why you glorify money and materialistic things. This is why you're in them abominable churches praising white Jesus. Okay? Because you think that God is all about you being prosperous. Okay? But you get all your prosperity because they destroyed the holy people. And also for the praise of the world, do they destroy the true children of the eternal living God of eternal benevolence, bringing us down into captivity. And it came to pass that I looked and beheld many waters, and they divided the Gentiles from the seed of my brethren. Okay? I gave you that imagery. Okay? Do you see how they are divided? Okay? They are divided. This is a set apart land. This is the Holy Land. The fourth part of the earth is the Holy Land. It is set apart from the three parts. Okay? They came upon his covenant land. All right? And I looked and beheld a man among the Gentiles who was separated from the seed of my brethren by the many waters. And I beheld that an evil, demonic spirit came upon that man. Okay, it was not the spirit of eternal benevolence. How is that benevolent to go to a wicked man and lead a wicked man over to his covenant land to destroy his covenant people? That ain't benevolent. However, it is benevolent that he will sit back and not deliver his disobedient covenant people from these wicked people, influenced and led by demonic spirits, to come over here to his covenant land and put us to the sword. Yeah, that's benevolence. It is benevolence that he refused to deliver us from the hand of the consequences of our wickedness. Because we had to be chastised. We had to learn not to do the wickedness that we were doing. And so he allowed these Gentiles to come over here and chastise his people. But he didn't lead them. Okay? So this is a mistranslation. No, sir, no, ma'am, it was not the spirit of eternal benevolence that led Christopher Columbus over here to these lands. It was a demonic spirit that came down and wrought upon him. And he went up forth upon many waters, even unto the seed of his brethren, unto Nephi's brethren, who were in the promised land. Do you see that? The promised land. Okay? The promised land. Okay? And it came to pass that I beheld evil spirits wrought upon other Gentiles, all the Protestants, all the freaking Jesuits, and all of these other ones. Let me get this. Hold on. All right. You had your Pilgrims and later your Puritans. All right. Set up colonies in Massachusetts. All right. Okay. Yeah, a whole bunch of them. All right. And we helped you. We helped you, people. All right. Soon the Pilgrims were eating well. You know, they were trading with the nearby tribes. And the European ship captains who sailed near the shore from time to time, they were trading with the nearby tribes and European ship captains who sailed near the shore from time to time. Without help from Wampanoag, the Pilgrims might not have survived. Okay? We treated you people with kindness, with compassion, love, mercy, and empathy. And then you turned around and did great wickedness unto us. Okay? So you came upon a land of promise. All right? And so you scattered us. All right? You smited us. All right? But you got to prosper and obtain a land for your inheritance. So now, one second. Now, you consider yourselves Americans. You think you have a right to be upon this land. But the original definition of American originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races that were found here by you Indo-Europeans. So it's our ancestral land. We're the indigenous people. We're the indigenous Americans. But you don't care nothing about us because you were born here. As you can read in the 1828, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Well, hell, by 1828, you had literally been persecuting us for several hundred years. Okay? Yeah, you have been persecuting us for about 400 years or so. Well, close to about 400 years. Okay? So, well, from 1492 all the way to 1828. Okay? You know, you have been persecuting us, diminishing us, destroying us And then you just set yourselves upon our ancestral land, and you're having babies upon this land, and now you just consider yourselves Americans. And now you're so bold to say, make America white again. You think you're really Americans. One second, because I seen something, and I'll close it out right quick before I got it. This how you been living, okay? That's how you been living. And this whole damn time, we've been in misery and great long suffering, asking for help. And you just blatantly ignore us while you're sitting with all your prosperity. But yet you worship white Jesus. You go to church every single Sunday praising white Jesus. But you think that you're serving the true and living God. And when you're vainly professing Jesus with the picture and image of white Jesus, you're actually vainly professing the true and living God. Okay? Because it's the true and living God that allowed you to do all of this wickedness. All right? But you didn't cite yourself out to believe that you're serving the true and living God. You're not, unless you begin to help his people. Okay? You need to take of your abundance and help us. Alright? Otherwise, you're going to be swept off these lands, people. Alright? You're about to be swept off these lands. Alright? Now, I'm showing you. Alright? I'm showing you how when we have finished our testimony, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit made war against us, okay, and overcame us and killed us, all right? This is the pale horse, okay, that came with Christopher Columbus, okay? They just got our records scattered, okay? They got the prophecy scattered, all right? You can't read the Bible from cover to cover, all right? Because they scattered the prophecy. But us, as the children of light, we know how to see how they did this, bro. This is insane. All right. So now they put this right here as the fourth seal. All right, but the pale horse is the horse before the black horse. See, they put the black horse as the third seal. That's a lie. Okay, they lying to you. Before the pale horse was the red horse. All right, first was the white horse. All right, so they got the white horse right. Okay, they got the white horse right, and then they had gotten the red horse right. All right, but they got this one out of place. Okay, this one's out of place. All right, this pale horse. All right, this should be the third seal. All right, the third seal. Okay, is the pale horse. All right, they got it out of place because the black horse is the final horse. Why in the hell would the black horse, which brings balance, understand that the black horse brings balance along with famine? They're blindly ignoring that. They're ignoring the fact that it is a dual prophecy. Okay? Because it's time for the liberation and restoration of the true covenant people and the punishment of those who took us into this final captivity. That's what they've hidden from you nations. Okay? All of you that are in your churches, you are being heavily misled. Okay? So now look. Verse 8. Then I looked and saw a pale horse. Its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed close behind. And they were given authority over the fourth part of the earth. Let me get the KJV, because they be irritating me. Alright. Let's get the KJV. because they trying to manipulate the scripture. You need to realize they already fulfilled this against us over here in the fourth part of the earth. All right, I'm connecting it all. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. Okay? So you need to understand that they did this with Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus was the pale horse. Okay? Now, our dead bodies lay dead in the street this whole entire time in these lands, the great city, okay, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also the Messiah was crucified, okay. Now, apparently he was crucified here in these lands, not over there in the so-called Middle East, okay. Now, I'm still looking for more confirmation on that part right there. All right. I need more connections on that. Okay. But I do have some already. We just not going down that route. All right. But I need more connections on that because there needs to be more connecting the dots of when exactly. Because I know that there were some pale skinned looking people that were in these lands before the worst of the heathen were allowed to come to these lands in 1492. Okay? At some point, these lands were unknown to a certain group of people. Okay? Primarily many of the modern day Indo-Europeans. These lands were cut off to you. Okay, you were not able to come over here to these lands, but there were other people like the Vikings and whatnot, and many of them were. I'm not even trying to go all on these tangent. People, you need to realize I'm almost at 2 hours here. But I have proof that there were a mixed multitude of nations upon these lands when Christopher Columbus came upon these lands. Nevertheless, we are the indigenous people of these lands, and many nations always resided with the holy people. Okay? We never turned away the righteous nations that wanted to reside with us. Okay? Our God allows for any and everyone who chooses to love and serve him and operate in his attributes. He allows you to dwell amongst his people. Okay? So it's not like we're telling you we don't want none of you on our land. It's the fact that your time is up for imposing your will upon us. Time is up for you mistreating us upon our own ancestral land. Okay, time's up for you ignoring your real history. Time's up for you ignoring this true fullness of his gospel. Okay? Now, you can still ignore it, but understand you're going to reap the consequences of it. All right? Because I'm giving you the true prophecy. All right? Now, this entire time, they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations have been looking at our dead bodies. You've been looking at our impoverished circumstances. You've been looking at our condition, all right, all of this time. And you have not suffered that we have been restored. You have not suffered our dead bodies to be put in graves. Okay? The meaning of this is that you have not restored us as a people. All right? You just allowing us to just languish and long suffer. You know, you don't care about us. All right? And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and send gifts one to another, like your postcards of our lynchings. Okay? But my whole life, I'm a living witness, people. I am a living witness. Okay? I am a living witness. All right? I'm a living witness I know damn well what has happened. Okay, find my thing again. I can find it. Where are we at, bro? Where's that? Okay. Now, I'm a living witness. Okay, so I lived a lifetime of even my family participating in this. Even my family ignoring the impoverished circumstances of our people as a whole, how we are on the bottom of the economic system, yet they're sitting here being merry and sending gifts one to another every Christmas, as much as they could afford it, and because at one point in time, people, when I was younger, and it was just my mom raising me and my brother. At one point in time during Christmas, she put the fruits of the spirit on the tree. All right, this I remember that my mom put the fruits of the spirit on a tree. Because she did not have any money to buy us any gifts. So she said, "I give you the fruits of the spirit." Okay, my mom is righteous. Overall, okay, she does have some issues within her heart concerning me, okay, so it's like she's been blinded by the illusions of this world, and that's why she has some issues in her heart concerning me, okay. She does not want to face the fact that she have been lied to her whole entire life, and this is the state of most of humanity, because you don't want to face the fact that you've been lied to the entirety of your life. You want to scorn and hate on me, okay. Now after that, my mom, she worked hard to build a successful life for herself, and give us the best life that she could possibly give us, okay. So now my mom is, I wouldn't really say, which I would say well off, okay? They're well off, okay? My mom, my brother, my dad, my uncles, my aunts, okay? They're well off, okay? Because they worked hard for what they get in their physical life, all right? And they send gifts one to another, all right? They rejoice and make merry with one another, okay? They celebrate one another's physical accomplishments, and they all scorn me. They all look their nose down upon me, okay? Because I torment them with the living word by the way of the Spirit, okay? They don't want to know the truth. They want to be comfortable, all right? I don't torment them on purpose, but it's the fact that I speak by way of the Spirit. They ostracize themselves from me. Okay? Now, this has been the duration of my life that I've lived this. I'm a living witness testifying of it. Okay? That even my own family was affected by this. I was affected by this. Okay? And after the 3.5 days, the Spirit of life from the true and living God entered into us. Okay? This is what you nations are ignoring. Okay? We have stood up upon our feet in great boldness. Okay? That connects to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. Then shall the righteous man stand up in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. Okay? This connects to who will rise up for me against the wicked, who will stand for me, against the workers of iniquity. Okay? Unless eternal benevolence had been my helper, I would have soon dwelt in the abode of silence. I would have died if he had not been my helper in all of this time that I've been obedient in my spiritual mission. All right? But now great fear is falling upon the nations that hear us and see us. Okay? They are in great consternation because they know they cannot refute what we have been given to speak by way of the Spirit. Okay? Now, I connected that prophecy. All right. Okay. So back over here, they already did all of this wickedness to us with their Inquisition. All right. We were taken and arrested during the Inquisition. They tortured us. All right. In the Wisdom of Solomon, which I already brought out, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, they said, let us Let us torture him. Let us prove his meekness. Let us, let us prove his meekness and all of these things. Let us torture him. Let us do all of these wicked things to him. Okay, they did this to us during the Inquisition. All right, when you watch documentaries and whatnot, they have whitewashed the original people. All right, and they are using a counterfeit people. Okay, we are the people that they persecuted in their Inquisition. All right, they were going after us. Okay, they were going after the holy people of this land. Okay, they wanted to stamp out the holy people and the true gospel. Okay, this is why they burned our records. Okay, this is why they stole our records, burned our records, and this is why they burned down libraries and all of these things. Okay, they already did this. Okay, you will be hated all over the world because you are my followers. Okay, many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. Okay, that's still going on to this day, and it will continue during the separation of the wheat and the tares. Okay, because understand, there are many that's going to turn away from what they've been considering their faith. Okay, because they didn't really have the true gospel. Okay, so when they come to find out that they are not saved by the blood of Jesus, and that they are actually going to have to restore the true biblical people, they're going to actually have to show real divine love and compassion by going in their abundance and helping to relieve our suffering. Once they find out that they're actually going to have to do this in order to be in one accord with the true gospel, they're going to turn away from the faith. Okay? And they're going to betray one another. Okay? Now, when this betrayal is many, well, not many, a few of the righteous ones of all the individual people of the nations that are prosperous, okay, they're gonna betray their own kindred. Okay, they're gonna turn their back on their own families in righteousness. Okay, they're gonna turn their back on the ways of this world. They're gonna turn their back on their leaders and those who set themselves up in authority. And they're going to begin to cleave unto the holy people, the resurrected remnant. And they are going to become the righteous Ams, thereby betraying their own racist people, okay, who hate us, despise us. Therefore, they're going to take on the hatred and the despisement of Israel, okay, as before. All right, back in the day in the 60s, during the civil rights movement, all the righteous individual Indo-Europeans that took a stance for righteousness and marched with us, rode the Freedom Rider bus with us, and took the brunt of the anger of the mobs. Okay, you took beatings for us. Understand, it's the same thing in this day and age. Okay, it's the same thing in the here and now. Okay, you're gonna have to be strong enough to withstand the persecution from your own racist people. Okay, from your own people who hate eternal benevolence. Okay, false prophets have been here. Okay, false prophets were already here in the days of the Messiah when he was upon the earth. He was calling them out. Okay, so don't let that fool you. All right, don't think that the Antichrist is coming, because the Antichrist has been here. Okay, so sin have been rampant upon the earth, and now his living witnesses have been resurrected by way of his spirit. Now let me prove that right quick. I'm just going to prove it very quickly. All right? And tie it to our restoration, okay? So as you can see, all right. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves. Okay? That means he sent the Spirit to revive us. He sent the Spirit to awaken us. Okay? That connects to the Revelation 11:11, that the living witnesses have been risen by way of his Spirit. Okay? And you shall know that I am the Lord, your eternal God. For I will give you a heart and ears to hear, and you shall praise me within the land of your captivity. I had done this before I ever even read this scripture. All right? And I think upon his name. I think upon his righteousness and his attributes of benevolence. All right? And I have returned from my stiff-necked ways and my wicked deeds. For I do remember the way of my wicked ass forefathers, which sinned before eternal benevolence. Okay? And because of this, all right, he is going to bring us again into the land which has been promised with an oath unto our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we will be lords of it. And we will be increased. And we will not be diminished. We will not be put to shame ever again. And he is going to make an everlasting covenant with us to be our God. And we shall be his people. And no longer, no more, ever more will he ever drive his people of Israel out of the land that he had given unto us. We are going to be returned to being sovereign over our land. Okay? Now, let's get back to this. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but for reason of him who subjected the same in hope, because the creature itself shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of eternal benevolence. For we are going to liberate the animals. Okay? For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. Okay? Why is it travailing together in pain together until now? Because the earth had been given into the hands of the wicked. And now their freaking time is up. Okay? Okay? Not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves grown within ourselves, all right, waiting for the adoption of the righteous Gentiles to take their place as a righteous am, to wit the redemption of our body. Okay? You must help restore us. All right? It's time to help heal us. If you're righteous, if you are of the true and living God of eternal benevolence. Okay? Now, the one who endures to the end will be the one that will be saved. Okay? I have been enduring. Many have been my persecutors and my enemies, yet I have not declined from thy testimonies. All right? I went over this wisdom of Sodom, then shall the righteous man stand up in great boldness, all right, before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. All right, because the whole world says root hog or die poor. All right, if you don't learn to earn and save your own money, don't think you're going to get a handout from me. Money don't grow on trees. All right. They repenting and groaning for anguish of spirits shall say within themselves, this is he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. Want to call me a lazy bum. All right? How is he numbered among the children of the true and living God, and his lot among the covenant remnant? Therefore, we have erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness had not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. Because how the hell are you in truth? How the hell are you in righteousness? When you have no compassion, when you have no mercy, you have no empathy, you got no kindness in your heart. When you just are all about the love of money and materialistic things, you are far away from the truth. You weary yourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yeah, you have gone through desert where there lay no way. But as for the way of eternal benevolence, you have not known it. You're going to ask yourself, what has your pride profited you? Or what good has your riches with your saving brought you? You're going to ask yourselves this. Because you can't eat your money. You can't drink your money. So when the value of money is devalued, or when your famine and your calamity comes upon you, you are not going to be spared by money. You are going to reap what you have been sowing. And eternal benevolence ain't going to deliver you. He's going to allow you to reap the reward of your iniquity. He's going to allow you to reap the consequences of your choices. All right? All your riches is going to pass away like a shadow, and as a post that hastens by. Okay? He asks, who shall rise up for him against the wicked? Clearly, only those who are upright in heart and follow his commandments. Okay? Surely judgment will again be righteous, and all the upright in heart will follow it. All right? Thus far, he's been watching. He's been watching. He saw that there's been no man. He has been amazed that there has been no one to intercede. So he has to bring about his own arm of salvation. His own righteousness is going to sustain his covenant remnant. Okay? And it's going to be amazing how he does it in his season. Okay? I am a living witness. 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 All right? Matthew 5:11. Blessed are me. I am blessed because there's been so many that have reviled me and persecuted me and said all manner of evil against me falsely for the sake of his true gospel. Calling me a leech, calling me lazy, all 'cause I won't pine after the false god of money. Yeah, they have already done this unto us. All right? But now, in this time, right now, the way that they're delivering me up to be afflicted and killed, because I'm facing death right now with not being able to pay my rent, being casted out onto the street, is like a form of death. Okay? You're trying to kill my spirit. All right? You're trying to take away my spiritual mission. All right? You're delivering me up to be afflicted by forcing me to go without my bare necessities, refusing to go in all your abundance to help relieve my suffering. That's showing that I am hated of all nations for the sake of his true gospel. Persecution. For real, for real. You Christians ain't being persecuted. The true and living God's heart is grieved because of the hardness of your hearts. For 40 years he was grieved with this generation and said, it is a people who go astray in their hearts. You're so focused on superficial things. You're so focused, oh, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't say any profanity out my mouth. All right, you may not steal, okay, you may not kill, Okay? Nevertheless, you still corrupted. You're going astray in your heart because you're having no compassion upon his vessels of mercy. All right? Therefore, you do not know his ways, but you operate out of self righteousness in them churches, giving to a pulpit pimping pastor that do not know the true and living God of eternal benevolence, but is there by the leading of Satan, leading you astray from eternal benevolence. Therefore, because of all your stubbornness and unrepentant heart, you people are stirring up great wrath for yourself in a day of wrath. Okay? And the revelation of the righteous. Alright? We are the righteous that he's going to reveal to you. He's going to reveal us to you. Okay? And this is the judgment of the true and living God. Okay? Part of your judgment is to see us glorified. Okay? Part of your judgment, you wicked, selfish, greedy people, you arrogant ass people, you self righteous ass people that have been hating on me, that have been slandering me. Part of your judgment is to see me in happiness. Okay? That is part of your judgment. Alright? When he reveals his true righteous servants. Okay? So, on that note, people, I feel absolutely confident in my spirit and in my conscience that I have given you everything that he placed upon my spirit in order to give unto you today. Okay? There is more in this audio that we do need to get, and I will continue it tomorrow. Before I do, I will be uploading these 2 videos for you. So you will be having those to watch while I work on the next part. Okay? Now, I can't guarantee you that I'm going to be able to go back to the office and upload more. I have to play it by ear. I'm going to try, okay? Do my best, people. Okay? But for some reason, like I said, my computer is not uploading these videos, okay? The internet is too slow. The upload speed is way too slow. To try to upload, okay? So I have to wait until I can go to the office and do it there. Okay? Um, on that note, I will bid you farewell. Shalom.